Something that finds its way into conversations I have with people here in Kyiv is when will the war end? And it's something I don't ask of people. They kind of volunteer this information themselves. Um, and I've been wondering, everyone comes up with their own analysis. It'll be 2027, it'll be 2030. And I've just been reflecting on why different people have these different mentalities or different expectations of when the war will end and even how it might end. And I've come to the conclusion that it's just that inner perspective from the individuals. The ones who can see the war ending in 2030, it's like, that's their internal reflection of how longer they can sustain this constant onslaught of attacks from the Russians on Ukrainian civilians, especially in the cities. And I would love to see it end sooner rather than later. And I think with everything that the Ukrainian armed forces are doing to date, especially with the attacks on the oil infrastructures, the refineries within Russia, it looks like there's a potential for the war to end a lot sooner than anticipation of years. I could put it down to possibly months, especially with the winter season coming within Russia and how difficult that will be. With their petroleum shortages, petrol shortages, gas shortages, it could be a very, very difficult winter within Russia, especially on the eastern side of Russia, where everything is becoming centrally protected in the cities of Moscow and St. Petersburg, and we could see unrest in the eastern parts of the country where they have no fuel. There's going to be huge inflation within Russia because of the lack of petrol being able to drive. Even the humble egg will become very expensive because anything that's produced, it has to be moved at some stage by road to small cities and towns. So this winter could be the final winter of this war, and I think it comes down to the balance of this war is not about on the battlefield or in the air. I think it's going to come down to the resilience of the people, the difference between the resilience of the Ukrainian people and the Russian people. And the Russian population hasn't been affected so much by the war as the Ukrainians have. So I see that the Ukrainian population are more resilient and more accepting of what's been happening, or more conditioned, not accepting, more conditioned. So I'll leave it there. Support Ukraine, support the armed forces of Ukraine, and be safe.